So, following the reports that Jaron Ennis has been training with Canelo in preparation for Canelo's fight against Terence Crawford, in this video I'm just going to talk about why, honestly, I think this is a genius move by Canelo, and why Jaron Ennis is, in my opinion, one of the best welterweights we've seen since Terence Crawford left the division. That being said, Terence Crawford didn't leave the division that too long ago, but Jaron Ennis 100% is one of the top welterweights in the world right now, and is going to be one of the top 154-pound fighters, in my opinion, when he goes up and makes his campaign at 154, and no doubt will go on to claim world championships in that weight division too. But Jaron Ennis is a tricky, very skillful, very powerful boxer who's also a southpaw, and stylistically, in terms of the elite welterweights at that sort of size, you couldn't get a better comparison to Terence Crawford, honestly. I was a bit surprised that Boots would agree to that. I think naturally, of course, Canelo's at 168, Boots is now going to be competing at 154, so the likelihood of those two ever meeting is very unlikely, of course. But I don't know, they're just two world champions working with each other like that. It feels like it doesn't happen that often, right? So that's why I was quite surprised when I saw it, and because honestly, if you was to ask me who would be the best people to help Canelo prepare for this fight, stylistically for sparring, I would say Jaron Ennis, but I'd also say it's unlikely that a world champion like Jaron Ennis would be willing to do that. So props to him for being willing to do that. And like I said, ultimately, Jaron Ennis is a world level boxer. And if you can't tell, I'm really high on Jaron Ennis. Right? He's a guy who I've known about for a very long time. A guy who I've seen on when he was in the smaller shows, coming up, you know, making his way through the divisions, getting those knockouts, styling on dudes, stopping everyone he's fighting. You know, I think he's 34-0 with 30 knockouts, something like that. That's his record, right? So, and like I always say about Jaron Ennis, he's one of those few guys that truly mixes power and style, right? You've got a lot of boxers who have one or the other. You've got a boxer like a Daniel Dubois who's a big puncher, or Deontay Wilder who's a big puncher, but not really got that boxing technique and style. Dubois got that technique. No, let me not discredit him like that. But he's got that technique, or like a Beterbiev, where he's not going to go out there with the razzle-dazzle, but he's going to go out there and put a beating on guys, apply pressure, and you know his boxing form's going to be very solid, right? Then you've got guys with the style of a guy like Jaron Ennis, a guy like Terence Crawford, guys like Floyd Mayweather, these sorts of guys, the Ray Leonards, maybe this is too high of a praise of Jaron Ennis. Maybe he's not proved himself at that level yet, but I think he truly could reach that level, right? And like, granted, I admit that he's not at that level yet. But could I see Jaron Ennis getting to that level? 100% I could see that. 100% I could see that. And Canelo's doing a smart thing by getting in a Jaron Ennis who's still young in his career. He's not even 30 yet, I believe. And getting with him, working with him, sharing that experience and getting different perspective. Because, like I said, there aren't many people that can really help you prepare for Terence Crawford. But Boots is one of them. Right? So a really, really smart move for Canelo here. And ultimately, my pick is Canelo to win that fight, but we'll see. But like I said, overall, that's a genius move by Canelo, and can only help him in his preparation. You know, having a boxing mind like Jaron Ennis there, like it's never gonna be a negative. It's never gonna be a drawback to having those sorts of names and boxing IQ and that sort of experience in your camp with you. But yeah, I'd be curious to know what you guys think of this move. Do you think maybe there's better guys that Canelo could have got in for preparation with Terence Crawford, or do you think Boots Ennis is probably the best route you can go down? But yeah, curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. And yeah, another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.